Hi everyone, Sophony Goodtano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Rosalía record, Motomami. This is a brand new LP from Spanish songwriter and vocalist Rosalía. It's her third and follows the groundbreaking El Mal Querer in 2018, which saw her fusing elements of flamenco, art pop, and R&B with an experimental flair, as well as one of the best voices in modern music currently. I've been wondering how she could follow up such a bold statement as of late, especially with her profile growing in the way it has over the last several years, gaining a moderate amount of mainstream success, and catching crossovers with some of the biggest artists around, Bad Bunny, Travis Scott, even The Weeknd on this new LP. And on Motomami, I'm encouraged to hear that Rosalía's sound and style are remaining adventurous and wild. Her approach is even a bit more aggressive than it was on the last record. From the teasers, it was pretty clear that Rosalía wanted us to know that she was going to be embracing a lot more reggaeton on this project, laced with wild samples and booming perks, and these are often some of the most colorful and explosive cuts on Motomami. The growling riff throughout the production on SAOKO is sick, as is the random jazz break on the back end, not to mention how much swagger Rosalía is laying vocally onto this track from corner to corner. It's great, it's fantastic, but these songs often end up being some of the most short-winded on this record too. Not much focus, not much structure, some ill-conceived hooks. Bati, Naki, Chicken Teriyaki. Further from here, tracks like Bizcochito, as well as the title track too. There are elements of these songs I like, but they mostly come off like fleeting ear candy. I think some of the lengthier and more purposeful cuts in the first half of the album make for a better listen, like the starry and intimate Candy, the glistening synthesizers, and entrancingly gorgeous vocal runs from Rosalía on this track are nothing short of stunning. Also, the pain of reminiscing over a love that fell apart translates hard. Then there's La Fama with The Weeknd, which, first off, the production on this one is great, groovy, heavily textured. But wait, Abel and Espanol? My God, and it's amazing. The chemistry on this track is off the charts. I don't think I could have asked for a better performance from these two. Then track 8, which is named after Rosalía's nephew, is nothing short of a religious experience, with its intimate vocals and somber organ chords that swell with the intensity of the sun breaking through the clouds. Once again, Rosalía's performance here is just beautiful beyond words. And HENTAI, in many respects, is a straightforward pop piano ballad with a tried and true chord progression, but the performance is so dynamic and touching it overcomes completely any cliche notes, at least in my eyes. Plus, the stuttering machine gun rhythms that hit in the second half are insane, and in a way I do kind of appreciate the more absurd and even simplistic elements of the lyrics too. In the second half of Motomami, Rosalía continues to pull out all the stops, occasionally to the detriment of the song. For example, there's Diablo, which undergoes a lot of interesting sonic shifts from a sparkling intro laced with all of these very, very, very tiny falsetto vocals to a lot of heavy reggaeton beats, post-industrial synth passages, and even a section where James Blake's voice is in the mix. It's a lot of changes, a lot of shifts happening in a very short amount of time, but it doesn't really build effectively on itself in any way. On Lacombe Versace, the grim and droning synth passages kind of seem at odds with the heavy groovy rhythms, as well as Tokisha's very amped vocal performance. And the closer, Sakura, is a total and utter theatrical vocal flex. Is it my favorite song or tune on the project? No, not necessarily. In fact, I just kind of wish these virtuoso acrobatics were incorporated a bit more effectively into earlier points of the record more often. Because in a way on Motomami, as fun as I think this record is, the flamenco influence has fallen off a bit overall outside of a few key moments in the track list. And not to be entirely dismissive of the second half of this record, because I think these tracks are okay and there are some highlights too. Como Un G, for example, is another powerful piano ballad, packed with cinematic swells of instrumentation, creative use of auto-tune too. And Cute is one of the few songs in the track list that turns being hectic into a true strength, as the track is just loaded with all of these chaotic rhythms, a weird piano ballad break around the middle, some surreal vocal effects too. The song sounds equal parts surreal and strange, and feels like something that could have been included in Arca's recently completed Kick series. Then Delirio De Grandesa is a straight up salsa cover with the hand drums and Latin horns and everything. interesting. It's a bold take on a work from a Cuban singer that released the song in the 60s. And yeah, I mean, the performance is great, the song is solid. Hearing Rosalía in this context is just proof of her versatility and talent. Also, there are some interestingly incorporated Soulja Boy samples on the back end, lifted off the Vistoso Boss's song Delirious, which goes to illustrate not just the unique collection of influences inspiring this song, but this record as a whole. Look, my overall experience with Motomami was certainly a positive one. This album is more versatile and all over the place than any record she's dropped so far, but simultaneously, it's a very fragmented listen too. And while the wayward ideas packed throughout this project are often really cool, it's rare they're actually nurtured into a gratifying song. So in a way, I do think this record feels a bit off balance in terms of having a sense of adventure, yes, but also lacking a bit of focus. Still, though, I'm feeling a decent 2-strong-7 on this one. Tran. Zishin, have you given this record a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well over here next to my head. It's another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Rosalía, Motomami, forever.